911, what's your emergency?
I have a state trooper behind me, and I need an ambulance because I started having my baby.
Okay, stay on the line. 911, what's your emergency? Ma'am. Ma'am.
Help me, my daughter's been murdered.
I'm just going to be upfront with you. I've been talking to the DA down in Booty County, and they've been working on a case down there. And we know that you had a hysterectomy some time back, and that you claimed to be pregnant for a while, but that you really weren't. So we're trying to figure out where this baby came from.
On the morning of October 9th, 2020, a woman speeding erratically down a Texas highway spotted a state trooper patrol. Knowing she was about to be intercepted, she immediately dialed 911 to set her stage. When the trooper pulled her over, he found a completely frantic woman holding a pale infant, screaming that she had just given birth. But upon her arrival at the hospital, doctors dropped a medical bombshell that stunned investigators. This woman was never pregnant, and in fact, she hadn't possessed a uterus for years. So where did this infant come from, and what was happening in those exact moments inside a quiet rural home just 12 miles away? Let's listen closely to how she attempted to initiate her final, desperate lie, a staged roadside birth, the very deception that would ultimately trigger her final downfall and arrest.
911, what's your emergency?
I have a state trooper behind me, and I need an ambulance because I started having my baby.
Okay, stay on the line.
Listen closely to the first word she uses, my baby. She is desperately trying to establish an unshakable maternal association before first responders can challenge her reality. But the moment the trooper arrives, her mask slips, and her focus shifts entirely to an immediate, desperate escape.
Can you just put me in your car and drive us so we're not sitting, please? I'm begging you to.
But there's nothing I can do. You're gonna need EMS.
I'm fine. If you'll just get us there as quick as possible, they'll meet us. Please, I'm begging you.
By begging the trooper to put her in his car and drive, Parker is attempting to physically distance herself from the horrific crime scene located just 12 miles away. She was only 20 minutes from a hospital in Texas, yet she insisted on traveling nearly an hour across state lines to a facility in Oklahoma. She knew the local Texas system had immediate access to her 2015 hysterectomy records. It wasn't maternal panic, it was a tactical escape. According to a jail trustee who later spoke with Parker in detention, Taylor privately confessed that mere moments after the violent extraction, she placed the baby against the dying mother's cheek and told her, "Tell mama bye." The physical evidence on the roadside was already beginning to scream the truth. Flight paramedics noted a massive physiological gap in her story. There was absolutely no fluid or biological evidence inside the vehicle where she was sitting. Childbirth is not a clean process, and it was medically obvious she had not delivered in that car. Furthermore, Parker maintained she had given birth just 35 minutes prior, yet when paramedics cut the umbilical cord, they observed that the blood was already fully clotted, proving the birth had occurred much earlier. While doctors prepared to conduct a mandatory pelvic examination on the frantic mother, they were about to uncover a physical secret that would shatter her entire 10-month illusion in a matter of seconds. To understand the sheer magnitude of this deception, we have to look back to 2015. Following a series of medical complications, Parker underwent a complete hysterectomy. She was permanently incapable of bearing children. Yet in January of 2020, desperate to prevent her boyfriend, Wade Griffin, from ending their volatile relationship, she initiated a highly coordinated public deception, claiming she was pregnant. Over the next 10 months, she constructed an alternate reality. She purchased silicone moon bellies to simulate gestation. She acquired forged ultrasound images, hosted a gender reveal party, and manipulated the isolation of the global pandemic to ban Griffin from attending her phantom prenatal appointments. As rumors of her deception began to circulate, concerned community members contacted her former OBGYN clinic, but the clinic was legally bound by federal HIPAA privacy regulations. They possessed clinical proof that Parker did not have a uterus, yet federal laws actively shielded her deception. The clinic manager was legally permitted to offer only a cryptic warning. The clinic couldn't tell them the truth, but they found a way to warn them.
Took two at home.
When was that?
December, late December. It was after our birthday. Maybe beginning of January.
All right. So both of the tests came back positive?
One was negative, one was positive. It was really faint. I had bought them at the dollar store.
Yeah. Did you make any appointments to go see the doctor or anything to
Yeah,
confirm?
I had originally did, but I never went.
Why didn't you go?
Just because I figured it would never be true.
Notice how she stumbles through the results, positive, then negative, then faintly positive. She is actively trying to play the victim of a false hope. By claiming she figured it would never be true, she attempts to reframe a calculated 10-month theater of deception as a simple, innocent mistake. Behind the scenes, her actions were entirely predatory. While claiming natural conception, testimonies revealed she was actively soliciting friends for six-figure payouts to act as surrogates. She weaponized old surgical scars from a previous gastric bypass to simulate abdominal changes. Operating completely undetected, she quietly monitored the genuine pregnancy of 21-year-old Reagan Simmons-Hancock. As her fabricated October due date rapidly approached and her boyfriend's family threatened to publicly expose her medical history, Taylor realized her 10-month illusion was about to shatter. She no longer needed to fake a pregnancy. She needed a baby, and she already had a woman in mind. To understand the nightmare of October 9th, we have to look at what Parker was doing just days before. On October 5th, the day she promised her boyfriend she would have a C-section, an anonymous bomb threat evacuated the local hospital. Blaming her mother for the chaos, Parker changed her delivery location to a hospital in Oklahoma for October 9th. When that morning finally arrived, she sent her boyfriend hundreds of miles away on a fabricated errand. With him isolated, she didn't drive to the hospital. Instead, her phone records show she spent hours Googling physical evaluations for premature infants delivered at exactly 35 weeks. Then, she drove to Reagan's house. Shortly after Reagan's husband departed for work, he began receiving strangely worded text messages from his wife's phone. Parker was hijacking the device to buy time, but the sudden change in texting style was an immediate red flag. By 9:30 that morning, Reagan's mother walked into the home.
New Boston 911, what's your emergency? Ma'am. Ma'am.
Help me, my daughter's been murdered.
What happened?
I don't know, somebody got in her house. She's dead.
Okay. Okay.
Everywhere.
Okay, stay on the line with me, okay?
Oh, our grandbaby. Oh, my God. I can't do it.
For a
Oh, my
possible
God.
COA.
Oh, my God, my daughter.
Okay, do you know what happened to her, ma'am?
I don't know, my grandbaby. I don't know. There's blood everywhere. She's dead on her floor.
Notice how the mother's frantic, unfiltered panic contrasts with the cold, calculated steps Parker took that morning. Inside, first responders discovered a scene of unimaginable horror. 3-year-old Kinley was found hiding, deeply traumatized. Reagan had fought her attacker tenaciously, but was tragically deceased. And then, investigators noticed something on the floor, a distinct bloody footprint. It matched a white snake print Crocs shoe, the exact shoe Parker was wearing when she was pulled over. With the physical evidence mounting, detectives stepped into the interrogation room, and as they laid out the digital timeline, Parker's carefully constructed reality began to violently collapse.
I didn't know anything about the fucking bomb threat, okay? Okay? I did not know anything about the fucking bomb threat.
Okay. Well, I'm not making it up.
Well, I'm just telling you. Just...
Okay. You can tell me that all you want.
Oh my God.
But I'm not making it up. Okay.
Okay.
In fact, I'm not making any of this shit up. Alright? There's a knife that was taken out of her neck. I'm not making that up.
I don't think you're making that up.
Okay. So,
But I don't remember doing
you
it.
can't talk about it. And I'm not making up the fact that your email is linked to the phone that called the bomb threat in. I'm not making that shit up.
My email?
Yeah, what is your email?
I have two. At gmail.com and I got yahoo.com.
Which one is the one you use on your phone? What kind of phone do you have?
I have a Samsung Galaxy Note. I use both of them because one I use for like our
But on a Samsung phone, you have to have a Gmail account. So that's the one that your phone.
yeah, that's the gmail.com. That's the one that's synced to my...
Your Google account.
Correct.
What was that one? The Yahoo? What was it?
At yahoo.com.
Okay. Alright. Well, the Gmail account is tied to the bomb
Oh,
threat.
dear fucking God.
So,
Notice the exact moment she realizes her own Google account has tied her to the bomb threat. The aggressive denial instantly crumbles into panic, but she doesn't stop lying. She just shifts her story. When pressed about the murder weapon, she tries to minimize her actions.
Why did you take a scalpel with you?
I always have a scalpel and a nylon thread suture. We've always had that. Wade carries it around in his fucking truck. Does it mean he's gonna chop somebody up?
She attempts to pass off a surgical scalpel as a routine item her boyfriend carries around. But as detectives pushed harder, knowing full well she had no uterus and had never been pregnant, Parker introduced her most desperate defense yet.
You're not sure what it was. And then, they failed. And there was blood. Did you stick her with a knife? Or was
No, she fell with the knife because I shoved her.
Okay.
Listen to how she tries to strip herself of accountability. She just shoved her friend. Gravity caused the fatal stab wounds. And then she gives investigators a very different version of what happened.
I wish I would have never lied.
I just want to know one thing. How did you ever think that this plan was going to work out without you getting caught? How did you think this was ever going to work?
I never planned on doing this.
At the point that it happened,
I knew
And-
I was gonna be caught.
and you
Listen to what she didn't say. She never said she was sorry for Reagan. She only wished she had never lied. But if she thought her story about an accidental fall would save her, the medical examiner's autopsy was about to destroy every single word. Reagan Simmons-Hancock didn't just fall on a knife. The medical examiner cataloged an unfathomable 113 sharp force injuries and nearly 40 blunt force strikes, resulting in severe structural trauma.
which means she would have had to have been stabbed with the scalpel before it was lodged in her neck. I personally witnessed that removal.
which means her body is open from the cut on her abdomen before that scalpel was stuck in her neck.
The physical sequencing proved that the abdominal extraction occurred first, while Reagan was still alive and fighting. The fatal stab wounds, delivered with a surgical scalpel that was found lodged deep in her neck, happened after the extraction to permanently silence her. This completely destroyed her claim that she was just trying to save the baby. It was a methodical execution. With her alibis completely shattered, the capital murder trial commenced. The courtroom heard devastating testimony from flight paramedics, who successfully restored a palpable pulse in the infant on the way to the hospital. Medical experts testified that the baby could not have been dead for the entire period Parker claimed. The fact that paramedics were able to restore a pulse indicated the baby was alive when she was removed. The emotional toll of these facts was laid bare by the victim's family. Faced with this unassailable physical truth, the defense launched a desperate final campaign. They presented MRI brain scans, arguing that Taylor suffered from frontal lobe syndrome, a defect they claimed made her biologically incapable of controlling her actions.
I don't know why I did it. I don't know what's wrong with me, because I've never been a bad person.
Notice how she frames the calculated abduction as an uncontrollable event, but the prosecution argued that the elaborate 10-month deception was difficult to reconcile with the defense's claim of severe behavioral disinhibition. State psychologists testified about her manipulation and pathological lying, which they said were consistent with traits associated with psychopathy. Despite the defense's plea for shades of gray, the jury saw only cold, calculated murder. In November 2022, Taylor Parker was sentenced to death. As Taylor Parker settled into her cell on Texas death row, becoming one of only 7 women in the state awaiting lethal injection, records showed that even before her trial was over, her pattern of manipulation continued inside the jail. She was caught attempting to manipulate fellow inmates. She faked medical emergencies, and prosecutors said she continued creating new stories to manipulate those around her. The trial had ended, but apparently, the lying hadn't.